Hare Krishna, Namaste. The question is, I recently came to know that the Sayuja mukti is actually attaining Sri Vaikunta and not merging into Brahman, the impersonal effulgence of the Supreme Lord. Can you comment on this? Short answer, yes, that is right, but it differs and depends on the school of thought, how they interpret it, and the purpose behind such interpretation. Now let's see the elaborate answer. The word Sayuja is a combination of two root words, Sa and Yuj. Sa means along or together. Yuj means to connect, connection, binding, to unite. So putting these two together, Sayuja means communion of two entities, two objects. This can be interpreted in different ways. Number one, as united in terms of how Mother Sita and Lord Sri Ramachandra united together after being separated for a long time. Number two, as merged into one, like that of Shishupala merging into the Lord when he was killed. The both examples that's been given are two extreme ends, but let's keep this in our mind as we go further into the details of this question. Now let's see how different acharyas have taken this term Sayuja according to their school of thought, according to their philosophy. As per Adi Shankaracharya, who is Acharya of Advaita philosophy, Sayuja is to become one with that absolute truth called Brahman. This Brahman is that which has no form, no name, no qualities, no place, nothing. Technically, this is called Aikya, to bind or to be one without a second. This is the oneness that is mentioned according to Sripad Adi Shankaracharya. There is no specific place called Sri Vaikunta or any other planets. Next in the Acharya sequence, it's Ramanujacharya. He is the Acharya of Vishishta Advaita. Sayuja, according to Ramanuja Sampradaya, is to unite like that of Rama and Sita. Here we can see when they unite, they remain as they are. They do not physically become one. Whereas in Advaita philosophy, the Sayuja is becoming one. So as per the teachings of Ramanujacharya, Sayuja Mukti must be the ultimate goal for each of their followers. It has nothing to do with oneness, merging or becoming God by losing one's identity, individual identity. It is to become one with the plans of the Lord, will of the Lord, meaning having no separate interest other than the interest of the Lord, to fully engage in the service of the Lord for eternity. And there are 8 auspicious qualities which get enabled when they attain Sri Vaikunta. Apahada Papma, Vijaraha, Vimurtyuhu, Vishokaha, Vijigitsaha, Apipasaha, Satyakamaha and Satya Sankalpaha. He is not touched by the karmas. He doesn't get old. He is eternal, not affected by death. He is not affected by sorrow. He has neither hunger nor thirst. He is the possessor of undiminishing enjoyable bliss. He has the power of uninterrupted will. In this way, he becomes one with the Lord. But that Atma cannot become Jagat Karnatvam, means the cause of the creation, maintenance, annihilation. This is reserved to the Supreme Lord alone. And the Sriyapatitvam belongs to the Lord alone. That is, being the consort of Sri Lakshmi. So this is as per Sripad Ramanuja's philosophy. Now, the third is Madhwa's Shuddha Advaita philosophy. It is similar to Sripad Ramanujacharya's philosophy or principles about Sayuja, that is to attain Sri Vaikunta and continue to serve the Lord in the spiritual world. Here the difference between Ramanuja and Madhva is, as per Madhva, Jivatma and Paramatma are two distinct separate entities. Whereas as per Ramanujacharya, yes, they are distinct, but they are one together. Like how a body and soul are one together. Leaving aside the deep philosophical differences, focusing on this term, Sayuja Mukti, both Acharyas agree that it is to return to Sri Vaikunta and able to union with the Lord in His service. Now let's see the fourth one, Vallabhacharya's Sampradaya, which is known as Shuddhadvaita. According to the teachings of Vallabhacharya, there are three types of living entities: Maryadha, Pushti, and Pravahami. The last one is nothing but the conditioned soul who keep taking repeated birth and death in this world with ignorance. The Pushti Jivas are those who develop bhakti towards the Lord, and their goal is to continue serving the Lord, not much interested in the moksha or freedom from this world. Whereas Maryadha Jivas are those who are interested to attain moksha, that is to get released from this samsara and merge into the impersonal akshara. The difference between Advaita philosophy of Shankaracharya and Shuddhadvaita philosophy of Vallabhacharya is that in Shuddhadvaita, the Brahman, the absolute truth, himself has manifested as the universe. The world manifested by him is actually real, is not an illusion. Whereas, according to Shankara, that Brahman is out of ignorance, appears to have manifested into different forms as this world, as this and different entities and so forth. But they are all not real except one which is real. That is the absolute truth, Brahman. So we have seen so far how Sayuja is taken as per Advaita, Vishishta Advaita, Dvaita, Shuddha Dvaita. Now in the Achintya Bheda Bheda Tattva philosophy of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is well known as Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, Sayuja is not supported mukti. It is considered very abominable because here it means merging and becoming one with the absolute truth. This type of moksha is completely rejected in the school of Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya, because at that time this philosophy of becoming one, merging, was so very prominent and preached all over the world. Therefore, to differentiate from the other types of moksha, this moksha is condemned. Question may come, was the Acharyas of Gaudiya Sampradaya not aware how the other school of thoughts interpreted this in more on the positive manner? They very well know, but they wanted to be very focused and clear in their teachings to show they differ from Mayavada philosophy, which says merging is the ultimate goal, and that is called moksha. This is why in Mangalacharan, the sloka which says Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi paschatya deshatarine. That means our respectful obeisances are unto you. This prayer is to Srila Prabhupada, where we are praying to him by offering our obeisances at his feet, saying, you have come to preach the message of Lord Chaitanya and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. Impersonalism refers to Mayavada philosophy. Voidism refers to Buddhism, Buddhist philosophy. So, the goal of Lord Chaitanya and his followers is to remove any ambiguity that's there in the world, thinking impersonalism is the true delivery of the soul as per the scripture. Therefore, Sayuja Mukti is not supported in the teachings of Gaudiya Vaishnava. In fact, even within Gaudiya Vaishnava, the Acharyas clearly knows that Sayuja Mukti has nothing to do with merging within that impersonal effulgence, Brahmajyoti. Rather, it is a union with the Lord and being engaged in the service of the Lord. How do we say that? A literature called Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, written by Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, which talks about the life and pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, who is a guru of Srila Prabhupada, comes in this Gaudiya Sampradaya, has given his commentaries on this literature, Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata. Over there, in Adi Leela, 8th chapter, 78th verse, says, E mate putrere rupakare mishrapan sa sharire sayujya haile kibatan. Sri Jagannath Mishra, whose father of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was enjoying how Lord was performing his childhood pastimes. When his son was studying attentively, Jagannath Mishra floated in an ocean of happiness and forgot whether it was a day or a night. Every day, Jagannath Mishra felt so very happy just by seeing his son's face. He drank the nectarian beauty of his son's form in such a way that it appeared that he had merged in his body with the Lord. Shasharire Sayuja Haile Kibatan. As you heard, Sayuja is very clearly mentioned in this particular sloka, that he merged himself in the Lord. And in the purport given by Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami, he says, he was so absorbed in seeing the beautiful form of Gaura, that is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as his son, that he continually remained merged in an ocean of bliss. In the same purport, Bhakti Siddhanta also mentions that, but according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, a pure devotee does not like even to hear about Sayuja Mukti, which inspires him with fear and hatred. Indeed, the pure devotee would rather go to hell than merge into the effulgence of the Lord. Here we should be clear that is addressing a certain group of philosophers who think that Sayuja means merging into the Lord. How do we know that? Because in the same purport, Bhakti Siddhanta continues, descriptions of Sayuja Mukti are found in the Madhva Sampradaya philosophy of Shuddha Dvaita. Unless there is a reciprocation between the worshipable Supreme Lord and his servants, the mood of worshipper and worshipable cannot exist. Therefore, the Sayuja Mukti is referred to herein is the attainment of the lotus feet of Vishnu. It certainly does not refer to becoming one with the Lord or merging with Brahman. It is so very clear. When we hear Sayuja of devotees, that means not becoming one with the Lord or merging with Brahman, rather becoming a worshipper of a worshipable Supreme Lord. In other words, becoming an eternal servant of the Supreme Master. So, to conclude, various schools of thought has adapted different meanings of the stem Sayuja. How and what we have to take is depends on which school of thought we belong to. The variations are accepted. It is pretty common among the religious schools of thought. Therefore, the advice is that whichever school we belong to, we adapt that meaning. Thank you. Hare Krishna.